Good morning and welcome to our 185th weekly webcast. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. If you've been with us before, welcome back. And so the way the call works is this is a 2-hour AMA, meaning ask me anything like you see on Reddit. And then what I'll do is I'll take questions after the opening segment. And my purpose is to humbly help you take your career to the next level. I apologize if I sound a bit sick. I'm still getting over COVID, but I always feel better than I sound. Okay, so before we get started, I want to talk about your LinkedIn profile. You already have everything you need to build something far bigger than yourself. And that's a great quote from marketing guru Seth Godin. And there's a reason why big companies spend billions of dollars every year on marketing and advertising. And I'm going to teach you how to network yourself or market yourself as well so you can get the job of your dreams, because your network is your net worth, okay? And relationships are more important than product knowledge. And a lot of people don't realize how easy it is to sell yourself leveraging LinkedIn. And so what I want to do today is, I want to teach you some of the basics on how to make an amazing LinkedIn profile so you can either get a better job or raise or promotion or get more customers. And so I want this to be an interactive session, meaning I want you to please type questions as we go through this. And if you want, you can share with me your LinkedIn profile there over the YouTube chat, and I can look at it in real time and offer my humble thoughts on how to make it more better, as my kids used to say. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go directly to LinkedIn. Let me just clean up the studio for a second here. We'll go directly to LinkedIn, and I'll show you some great examples. And as many of you know, I don't like to teach based on theory. I love to teach based on real-life practical experience. With that in mind, let's go to our first sample LinkedIn profile here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you the LinkedIn profile of a very successful CEO. And this CEO that I'm going to show you in a second, he's the CEO of a Sequoia-backed venture capital firm called Cohesity. And when I worked in the venture capital industry, the last board I was on before I quit to teach was this board of this company, Cohesity. I'll show you in a second. And so Sequoia led the Series A. My previous firm led the Series B. And when I did due diligence on the company and the CEO, of course, I extensively used LinkedIn to do this. Okay, LinkedIn is crucial. It's really, really important. I don't recommend networking with anybody until you have a great LinkedIn profile. Okay, so here's Mohit Aaron. So when I was doing due diligence on Cohesity to decide whether or not my previous venture capital firm should invest many years ago, the first thing I did was I went to this profile of this awesome CEO here. And in venture capital, we all know that ideas are commodities, but execution is not. And the jockey's always more important than the horse. And I never invest in any tech company, ever, when the founder or all the founders have left. Don't ever do that either, because in most cases, the company is in secular decline. And in general, when a tech company starts becoming a little bit less relevant, it's game over. And turnarounds only work in tech once per decade, like Apple last decade. Okay, so the first thing I did was I went all the way down here to look at recommendations he had written about him. And he's got 25 recommendations. And almost all these recommendations he had written before we led the Series B on the company. And you have to ask your friends or previous colleagues or previous boss to write you many recommendations over LinkedIn, especially for those of you that, like most of us, that feel uncomfortable bragging. It's not bragging if you have a customer testimonial, like a big firm you put on your website if they're a customer. And it's not bragging if somebody else writes a recommendation for you. And anytime you see somebody with more than like 10 recommendations, it's obvious they asked other people to write them for them, which is smart. So what I did was I looked through all of these recommendations, and a lot of the people that recommended him I actually knew, or some of them at least. And so we see here that he was the former co-founder of a great company called Nutanix, which went public. When I was doing my due diligence on him years ago, I saw that he created the Google file system as well back in 2003 when he worked at Google right here. He also was the chief architect of Astra Data, which got purchased. and now, of course, she's the CEO of Cohesity. Okay, now let's go and look at some of my students and how they've created their profiles. So the first one I want to look at is Dr. Dion Vernon, who's an amazing graduate from my MBA program. She graduated last year. And what I do in my MBA program, if you're a platinum member, what I do is I actually make your entire LinkedIn profile with you in real time during our many confidential one-on-one meetings. And the current MBA class, we just started yesterday for every Wednesday for 1 year. The current class is sold out. I apologize. Okay, so the first thing I look at here with Dr. Dion is this picture up here. Okay, and of course she has a great picture. She's smiling, she's upbeat, she's great. I'm smiling because I know her personally. She's wonderful. I met her here in person during my graduation ceremony last year. Also, what you see here is a picture that has 3 layers. Now, I know it might seem somewhat ridiculous for me to talk about this picture at the top, but it's important. It's important because you never get that second chance to make a great first impression. And I got that from a cheesy Head and Shoulders commercial back in the 80s. I'm dating myself there. But a lot of people leave this blank with the gray image that defaults on LinkedIn. Don't do that, please. Okay, it makes you appear stale. And so if you're not sure what kind of picture to get one with 3 layers. It's called the rule of thirds. And all great pictures have 3 layers. In this case, we've got the ocean, you've got the mountains and the sky, and this is, of course, the Amalfi Coast. Don't ever put writing on this image here, please. The reason I say that is because it doesn't work in mobile. You might not be able to read all the text. Okay. Now, the only critique I have of this LinkedIn profile, to be intellectually honest, is not enough recommendations. And of course, I was more than happy to write a recommendation for Dr. Dion. So let's go through this really quickly. And then what I can do, if you want, is I can go through your LinkedIn profile live on the air here. Okay. And if you want me to go through your LinkedIn profile live on the air during this call, then please email a link of your LinkedIn profile right now to admissions@harounventures.com, and I'll open it in a second. So the most important field you have in LinkedIn is right here, okay? So this here is your title. And this is the most searched field by HR executives as well. And so I always recommend you list multiple items here, and you use this vertical scroll, whatever you call that, vertical image thing, text. I have COVID. I'm getting over this. Please, you guys got to give me a break. I love you. I'm too hard on myself too. I should have taken another day off. But what you do is you put this line here, so that you can have multiple text strings, because this is all searchable. So if you want to get into investment banking and you're not in investment banking but you're in school, you can write aspiring investment banker. And little side note, one of my current platinum students that started back this past January, he just got a full-time offer from Goldman Sachs to do investment banking as an associate. It's incredible. So he's in the same start class as people from Harvard Business School, etc. 2/3 of HBS is BS. Maybe you can say it about Haroun Business School too. I don't know. All right. So as we scroll down here, we see this is really easy to read. Never have more than 3 sentences in a paragraph for the rest of your life. And I used to have my own Inc. column in Inc. magazine years ago, and my editor would tell me that. Don't ever have more than 3 sentences ever in a paragraph. And if you want to put a 4th sentence, just either start a new paragraph or use a semicolon to attach 2 sentences together, so you stay to the rule of 3. And so you want to, first of all, the first sentence is incredibly important, okay, the first paragraph. And the way to think about how to write these things is, I want you to think about if you were asked to do a keynote speech and they asked you, do you have a bio that they can read to introduce you? Well, this is your bio. It's called the summary section in LinkedIn. And so let me read the first paragraph, then I'll move on quickly. Dr. Dion Vernon's career in education has always been at the intersection of the liberal arts and sciences. That's a great quote from Steve Jobs. In addition to working for the Olympic Committee globally, she also has extensive experience on Broadway with more than 10 productions, including The Lion King, Hamilton, Cats, and Chicago. And I asked Dr. Dion if she worked on Les Miserables, but she didn't work on Les Miserables. Okay. And then at the very end here, she created a quote, which is very inspirational. And she's a therapist. And she actually won, I think it was a gold medal with the previous Olympic team she advised. So she wrote here, something really amazing happens when we stop, confront, and own our pain and ourselves. We start to harness an incredible power called resilience. Yeah. And sometimes, and this is a quote from one of my great MBA students from Nigeria who I talked to yesterday. He told me that, from pain comes purpose. And so all of you going through career frustrations, please don't let it get to your head, because there's a purpose to all that in your journey, so to speak. And as I look back on my many failures in my life, there's lots of them. In hindsight, they're not failures. They're just turning points. And so my pain had a purpose, so to speak. Okay, great. So moving on down here. When you list the items here, have only a couple bullet points each. Otherwise, it's really intimidating. If it's something you did in the past, you write here in the past tense, improved, orchestrated, that sort of thing. Of course, you list your education, and make sure that you have a lot of friends. And Dr. Dion should have more of these here. Make sure you have a lot of friends to like skills of yours. And if you like others, they'll like yours, for example. Help each other out, because this does matter. Again, the most important thing, though, is right here, the recommendations. Last thing I want to talk about is please don't ever follow politicians here, okay? Because what will happen is half the people will like you and half the people won't like you as much. I don't know what half. But you got to be really, really careful when it comes to politics. Okay, now let me show you another example here of this guy that became CEO of this wonderful company called Splunk, ticker SPLK. I participated in the IPO back in the summer 2012. Okay, and his name is Doug Merritt, and I'm not connected to him, although I have met him before. So here he is here. He's no longer the CEO of Splunk. He stepped down. But when I first found out he was going to be CEO, and I met him at a party back in 2015 or 16 or so, I went to his recommendations here to see who he knows. And it looks like he has 81 recommendations. I mean, he's great. There's a reason why he became CEO. It's because he can sell himself. And the best business people in the world and CEOs, etc., are great salespeople. So he asked 81 people to write recommendations for him. And you can see here, this was way back in 2011. Let's see what happened in 2011 for him. Okay, so it looks like he was at SAP at the time, and he probably wants to leave companies, and so he jumped ship to go to Cisco. Okay, great. Now let me wrap this up by talking about how to become a thought leader. So you have a 1 in 250 chance of getting a job if you see a job advertised online. It's that hard. So how do you get that job then if you're just a number? And who gets that job? Who is a lucky number 1 out of 250? Well, it's somebody that knows someone at the company. Okay, it's always is that case. And so how do you get to know people at a company? Well, number 1, make your LinkedIn profile amazing like I showed you. And in my MBA program, again, in the Platinum program, I actually create your profile for you. Number 2, you want to be able to think like a thought leader. It's like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. And the way to think like a thought leader is to write a lot. You got to start somewhere. Okay, Rome was not built in a day. And so what you can do is you can write articles on LinkedIn on whatever sector you're passionate about. And it'll take a little while for it to take off, but I promise you it works. And at first when you do it, man, you feel like you're screaming into the wind because you're not getting any views. But you only have to be writing business one time. And so all it takes is one great post on LinkedIn for people to take notice of you. And I'll give you an example here of another doctor in my program. Oddly enough, I have a ton of doctors. And let me go over here. And we'll look here at Dr. Mark Vincent Besa. So he's a doctor based in the Philippines, great guy. And what he did actually during 2020, in my first year of my MBA program, he started writing an article every single week. And although he didn't get a lot of views, after 6 months, what happened was the World Health Organization reached out to him to offer him a job. Why? because he shared his opinions at that point in time on COVID. And people do take notice after a while. And so what I recommend you do is you repurpose your content as well. And this is what Gary Vaynerchuk does. And this is what Nintendo has been doing since, I don't know, a couple decades or so. Nintendo's the oldest tech company in history. What Nintendo does is they release these great games on old platforms like the 16-bit or 8-bit or 64-bit Nintendo systems. Then they re-release those same games on future platforms like the GameCube, the Switch, and the Wii U. And by re-releasing those games, you're repurposing your content, which is a very high margin business. So what, Chris? What does this have to do with me becoming a thought leader? Well, what you can do is you write one article per week and you post it on LinkedIn. Okay. Then after 2 years of doing that, after about 100 weeks, you take all 100 articles and you put them together in a book. And that's what I did with my first book called 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School. I repurposed all of those articles. It was just a copy and paste job. And it really helped me a lot, and it's helped a ton of my students as well writing a book. And I'm going to show you how to write a book really quickly in a second. It costs you nothing to do it, and I'll show you how to post it on Kindle, as well as Amazon Print and ACX, which is Audible. So all you need to do is just download a template I'm going to provide you with right here. So go to my website, which is harounmba.com/ all lowercase, write book, okay? Write -book, all lowercase. And when you're here, what you can do is you can download a template I created for you. And if you know how to use Microsoft Word and a browser, which everybody does, then you can publish a book as well. And so in this simplistic template, it's 6 inches by 9 inches. That's me buying time while it opens. It's 6 inches by 9 inches, okay, the book template. And all you have to do is just copy and paste your LinkedIn articles directly to here, or write directly, yay, it opened, write directly here into this template. There's one page of instructions at the beginning. It's free to use, of course. They'll tell you how to publish on Kindle, paper, and audio format. And then what you do is you put a nice forward here, dedicating this to your mom and dad who gave you the faith and confidence to know in my heart that you can accomplish anything in life. I love you, mom and dad, if you're watching. Okay. Then what you do is you write the entire thing, and then you right-click here and then you select repaginate, which apparently is a word. And you bring this with you to all future meetings, okay? Meaning interviews or informational meetings or meetings with customers. And if you think this is too much work, then I want you to ask yourself this. How badly do you want this job, or how badly do you want this customer? Tons of my students have written books. When you publish your book, let me know so I can buy it on Amazon and support you and profile it here live on my weekly webcast. Okay, great. So the person that gets the job at the company is usually the person that knows somebody at the company. And earlier on, I gave you a staggering statistic, which is every time you see a job offer online and you apply for it, your chance of getting that job is literally 1 out of 250. So how do you get that job then? Well, every battle is won before it's been fought. That's a great quote from Sun Tzu and The Art of War. And so what you need to do is you find a company you want to work at, and then you set up a ton of informational meetings using LinkedIn. Okay, and then you get to know these people and they will help you. And I'll explain how in more detail in a second. And by the way, again, if you want, enter in your LinkedIn profile, email it to me right now at admissions@harounventures.com, and I'll go through it in real time if you feel comfortable doing that on the air here live. Okay, great. So the way to get a job is to network like crazy. And you can't network and get meetings unless you have an amazing LinkedIn profile. Again, I do it for you in the platinum version of my MBA program. And once you have an amazing LinkedIn profile using many of the tips I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, then when you reach out to people using InMails, more often than not, people will take those meetings with you. It's amazing. It works. I promise you it does. So what do you write to these people? Well, what you want to do is you want to look through their LinkedIn profiles and find at least one or two things you have in common with this person. And like all business writing, you want to keep the email or in-mail intro short. Less is more. If it's too long, it's really going to overwhelm people. And so in the in-mail, and I know that you've all opened every in-mail you've ever received, but we certainly have not opened most emails we've ever received. So in the LinkedIn in-mail, you type this. Subject line is hi. Keep it simple, okay? The contents are as follows. John, hope all is well. I also went to the same high school as you, whatever school that was, and I also live here in the Bay Area. Please let me know if you have time for a coffee or a quick Zoom call. Thanks a lot, your future boss. So, thanks a lot, Chris. That was awful dad humor, and I know I've used that one before. It happens when you get old, eh? The older I get, the better I was. So you don't say why you want to meet, and that's not being unethical or disingenuous. The reason you don't say why you want to meet is because if you say you're looking for a job or money or whatever it is, an investor, they won't respond. Partially because they'll feel bad they might not be able to help you. They don't want to let you down because you are them. And they will accept that meeting. I promise you it works. It works incredibly well. Step 1, have a great LinkedIn profile. Step 2, opine a lot, meaning write lots of articles on LinkedIn so you're a thought leader. Step 3, ask. Ask and you will receive. It's prophetic and it's been true since the beginning of time. And all these people that get raises or promotions that work at big companies, what you don't realize is behind closed doors, they've asked for a raise or a promotion many times. And they've also networked aggressively internally at their companies. And if you want to network with people internally at your company, of course you have to have a great LinkedIn profile as well. And if you think that people won't take these meetings, then you're wrong. And I say with love in my heart. Because imagine in 20 years, you're 20 years more successful than you already are today. And somebody reaches out to you that is exactly like you and asks for a meeting. Would you take that meeting? Of course you would. The beautiful thing is that 249 out of every 250 people don't ask, but you will ask. And I promise you this works. And when I used to teach in person in the San Francisco Bay Area during the evenings at universities, the very first class I would have, I would basically tell all my students in the 10-week course I taught, if I told all of you that if you accepted or you set up one informational meeting every week for the next 10 weeks, if you did this, I guarantee you, you will get the job of your dreams. Would you do it? And all 70 hands would go up, of course. And then on the last day, right before the final exam, which was always easy, on the last day, I would ask my students, okay, over the past 10 weeks, how many of you set up informational meetings? And I said, how many did 10? And no hands go up. I said, how many did 8? No hands go up. How many did 7 or so? A couple of hands go up. And the students that had their hands up were never the ones with the top grades. But they were always the ones that got their dream jobs. So you got to ask. And a way to guarantee or at least increase the probability of getting that one-on-one meeting or that job is to have an amazing LinkedIn profile and to think like a thought leader. Now, there's other ways to do it as well. And I'm going to talk about my ethnic heritage. First of all, I'm a very proud Canadian, as many of you know. So my dad is Lebanese, and my dad is Egyptian, and my mom is part Lebanese. So I'm very proud of who I am. And I never really leveraged my background until probably 2014 or so. And I found that when I started to leverage my background, I got tons of meetings, and I'll explain how you can do it in a second as well. I got tons of meetings, and I was humbly able to raise millions of dollars when I went over to Dubai. Okay, so I'm part Lebanese. Okay, my mama, if you're watching, I love you. I love you too, Dad, okay? I love you both the same. But I'm part Lebanese. And I started to leverage my heritage. And I ended up getting this meeting with the chairman emeritus, former CEO of Morgan Stanley, a guy named John Mack. And I got a meeting with him because of that. And he sent me, it was amazing. It was on a Friday. I met with him in New York City in his office at Morgan Stanley's headquarters. And by the Monday, when I got back to my desk here in the Bay Area, he had FedExed this book on my desk about the Lebanese. And he wrote me this nice little note as well. And so a lot of people get ahead in life by leveraging their backgrounds. It doesn't have to be your ethnic background. It can also be the high school you went to. The trick is to do an advanced search in LinkedIn and find people that are similar to you, similar life stories. You know, maybe they went to the same high school and undergraduate school you went to, and maybe they work in the same sector, or maybe they work or they're part of the same charitable organization, or maybe they're in the same group that you're in on LinkedIn. Okay, so you have to actually leverage what you have in common with people. And as I mentioned earlier today, this is me buying time as I think about what I said earlier today as I'm trying to get over COVID here. You know what that is? This here is the world's smallest violin. But as I mentioned earlier, relationships are more important than product knowledge. So how do you bond with people if you get these meetings, okay, over LinkedIn? Well, what you want to do is you want to look at their LinkedIn profile to see if you have anything in common with them, like the same high school you went to. And you want to go to their Twitter profile as well to see who they follow. And they usually follow stuff they're passionate about. And this gives you an excuse to bring that up during a meeting. Another way to buy time when you're presenting is have a sip of water. And so if I see on somebody's LinkedIn profile that they're a baseball fan, then what I do is during my first meeting with them, as I get to know them, I talk about my love for baseball, okay, and how the Toronto Blue Jays are always better than the New York Yankees. Yeah. Talk about what you have in common with them. And then what will happen is after about 10 minutes or so of that informational meeting, they will very, very politely say to you, why are we meeting? They won't say it like that though. And then you bring up the fact that you're thinking about changing careers and you'd love to get their advice. And at the end of that meeting, after you bond with them, you tell them, I'd love to have the opportunity to be able to work at your firm. And if you ever know anybody in any department, please let me know. I'll be eternally grateful. And then within an hour of the meeting being done, what I want you to do is I want you to send them a very, very short thank you in-mail over LinkedIn. Okay, this works. I promise you, if you do this over and over and over again, it will work because as Tony Robbins said, repetition is the mother of all skill. Okay. All right, let me get to your questions. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want me to, what I can do is I can go through your LinkedIn profile with you live here on the air and give you my humble thoughts on how to make it much, much gooder. Better, I know. All right. So first up, I've got Renveer who wrote, hello, Chris. How is your health today? I feel better than I sound. I think I'm probably 70% better. Yeah, but thank you so much for asking. Yeah, and I'm part of the 60% of Americans, people living in the United States, that have had COVID now. Yeah, and I got it from a party, and it sucks, man, because I wear my mask freaking everywhere. Like I'm the only guy in the gym wearing a mask, and I went to a party and I met these two people that I found something in common with them. They used to work at Accenture. So now where I used to work, now I refer to that company as Accidenture. That's right. Yeah, just kidding. But I feel good. Yeah, and I'm glad I went through it as well. And the reason why, and it sounds messed up, I know, but I'm fully transparent always. And transparency builds trust, I guess. But I'm glad I went through it because whenever I get sick, it gives me, I don't know, it kind of gives me a few days to reassess where I am in my life and what changes I want to make. And so I decided that I'm going to start making courses and giving them to Amnesty International and then help if I can in any way, because I think that education is a fundamental human right. And if you want to learn more about my thoughts on the future of education and the world in general and how to fix every single problem, then what you can do is you can go to my YouTube channel. YouTube. I'm just going to type in YOU. Hopefully it remembers it here. All right. Go to my YouTube channel. And what you can do is when you're at my channel, go to my YouTube channel. God, my voice is annoying. Sorry about that. If you, yeah, after this call is done, you'll see here at my TEDx talk, or just do a search on TEDx talk here. Because I gave a TEDx talk years ago about how I humbly think that every problem we solve in the world with education. Whew. Okay. Next up, Tom. Hey, Thomas, how are you? Thomas is from Sweden. He's got an incredible business model to fix illnesses in the world. He was on my, he's a platinum student of mine, and he was in my start class yesterday, my fourth annual MBA degree program. And I got to know him as well over Zoom. Great guy. So Thomas, great to see you. You wrote, I loved yesterday's MBA program launch. Likewise, thank you. As always, it's heartwarming to see you and learn from you. It makes two of us. Thank you. And you inspire me so much with your business plan. Yeah. You wrote, I'm at a Bitcoin meetup right now. I want to have a discussion with others about the fundamentals of Bitcoin from an investing perspective. What 1 to 3 questions about the value of Bitcoin would be wise to discuss with others in the meetup, and why it may or may not be a wise investment? Yeah, so I'd be careful of the bias there, because everybody attending is probably a raging Bitcoin bull. So what I would do, instead of asking them about what they love about Bitcoin, is I would ask them, what are the biggest weaknesses of Bitcoin? Or are there any other cryptos you like better, and why? And the reason why so many cryptocurrencies exist is not just because it's a gold rush, and there's a lot of crap out there, and most cryptos are scams. But the reason lots of cryptos exist out there, one of the reasons is because Bitcoin has a lot of limitations. Number one, it's very, very slow. And so that's why a lot of people wanted to invest in Ethereum and other better cryptocurrencies. So ask about the weaknesses. Yeah. Okay. And we cover cryptocurrencies in a lot of detail in the MBA program in the second semester. All new stuff I recorded. Okay, next up, Mike wrote, hello, Chris. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you. I wanted to know what jobs are recession-proof. Also, would you say marketing jobs are recession-proof? Yeah. So let me answer that in reverse. I think that sales jobs are marketing-proof more so, are recession-proof more so than marketing jobs. Okay, and so what we talked about yesterday in my MBA program, we did our first finance class, and I talked about how the most important thing you need to understand when modeling a company is how to model sales. Sales is the driver of every company. Sales is also referred to as revenue. And if you focus on growing sales, and there's 2 ways to increase profits. One is by cutting expenses or accelerating the growth of revenue. And when we go into an economic downturn, the people that aren't involved in sales are expendable. Okay, what happens is management teams tend to cut into muscle, not just fat. During recessions, they overfire. And so if you're in a senior position and you work in sales, and management wants to promote you to manage other people, make sure you only accept that role if you can still hang on to a couple of your most important customers. It's crucial. I've seen so many people get promoted to senior management that were former salespeople, and they become expensive because, their base salary is higher. And, when the next recession hits, a lot of times they get let go. So always make sure that you have a role in sales and you guard your relationships as well within a big company. Yeah. All right. Next up, Renveer said, Chris, tomorrow I'll be registering my company. Congratulations. I'll be the only owner. How much shares should I issue? Yeah, congratulations. Now, make sure if you register your company to get a lawyer to do it, don't do it yourself. And you can always go to LegalZoom.com and do it for next to nothing, okay? And you want to protect your family and your assets, okay? If you do it the wrong way without using a lawyer, you can get into trouble. We can get into trouble, yeah. So in terms of how much equity or ownership to give other employees, you got to be cognizant of the fact that if you want to raise money multiple times, that every time you raise money, you're going to get diluted. Okay, you're going to own less of the company because you're going to be giving up equity to other equity investors. So you want to make sure you retain, almost all of the company in the first round. Because what happens is if you keep raising money and you keep diluting yourself, eventually you own well under 50% of the company. And if you don't have great board members, then they can fire you. Okay, and it's terrifying to have that taken away from you. It's like somebody taking away your baby from you. Obviously, kids are better, but a company is kind of like a prosthetic extension of you. So early on, I would give just a very small percent. Now, in Silicon Valley, in the venture capital deals I've worked on in the past, in the A round, when we brought on a VP of engineering, meaning the head of engineering, we usually offer that person 2 or 3%. Okay, it's not very much. But if it's a massive company, 2 or 3% really, really adds up. You want to guard your equity. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, I've got Peter from Romania. Peter, good to see you. Peter is 20. He's a big football fan as well. Okay. Okay, and you're asking me about Xiaomi and my thoughts on the company. I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry. But in my MBA program, I provide you all with millions of templates you can use, or arrows in your quiver, tools in your toolbox, so you can decide whether or not an investment is good for you. Yeah. Good to see you. Okay. Next up, at Mark, great to see you. And you wrote, I'm joining for the first time. Welcome. I hope you join us again. Peter wrote, do you have any advice on how to build a reading habit? Thanks. Yeah, great question. So it's really hard for us to have the staying power to sit down and read a thick book, or to read a 5,000 word editorial in Vanity Fair, which I don't do anymore because they're too left wing. That's right. Sorry. Don't let people know your political affiliation. All right. I slipped up there. But you want to keep all books you write short, and the books that do the best that you read are the ones with very short chapters, like James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. Right, those chapters are short, and that's how I write all of my books. Keep it short. Okay, and so those are the easiest ones to read. I don't like sitting down and reading anymore, though. I love listening to Audible, and what I want you to do is I want you to find out, who your heroes are in business, and listen to their autobiography if it exists, or biographies about them. Because what happens is very successful people, they let their cards go down, so to speak. They show you their cards after they're successful, and they share their blueprint of success with you. So I'm always listening to biographies or autobiographies, and I want you to listen to everything that Sir Richard Branson publishes on audible.com, because his delivery is incredible, and you can learn a lot from his delivery as well, and he inspires you, man. So I listen to Audible. It's the best $15 per month investment you can possibly have. Now I have to make a bipartisan comment. So a book I finished a couple of months ago was Barack Obama's biography. Now I didn't vote for Obama, but I love him. And he's one of the best public speakers I've ever seen or heard in my life. And when you listen to Obama's book, it's unbelievable because he is inspirational and he reads it himself. And you can learn how to become a much better public speaker just by listening to how he expresses himself. And he's vulnerable as well. And one of the most important things I remember from that book was, he basically said that when he was close to 40 years old, I thought my career was over. That's what he said. And he said he was in a marriage that almost failed. He was a failed politician before the age of 40, and he reinvented himself. So if anybody out there that's pushing 40, don't worry, you can always reinvent yourself. And anybody out there who's over 50 like me, don't worry, because the average age of somebody starting a company in America is 52 now. You can always reinvent yourself. Last thing I'll say on age is that since the 1950s, the average life expectancy is 26 years longer today than it was back then. So if you're 56, hey man, you're 30. Yeah. Okay. And here's what I'm reading right now. And I always listen to books that help to improve my health. I say this as I have COVID. Alexa, read my book.
Getting your selection from Audible. Resuming aging backwards. To the long-term
Alexa,
problems
stop.
Brought on by shortening
Alexa, stop. Okay. Good, Alexa. Yeah. So that's a book I'm listening to right now, is Reversing Aging. I don't think you can reverse aging, or maybe you can. You can at least slow it down. Yeah. Which is why I look so amazing. I'm only 27. All right, next up, I've got Sam who wrote, hey, Chris, when will the new material be added to the MBA program? I'm excited about the technology pillar and the real estate lessons. Thank you for being a dedicated teacher. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. And Sam, you left a message last night, which got cut off here. I think you wanted me to look at your LinkedIn profile. If you want me to send your LinkedIn profile, email your LinkedIn profile to admissions@harounventures.com. In terms of the technology stuff that I'm going to be adding, it's coming later this year, and real estate probably early next year. And let me actually get a prop here. Show you behind the scenes here. And this is not part of my house. This is like a separate office I have. So it's kind of nice. Beautiful day too. I feel like Mr. Rogers. Gotta put on my sweater. I love Mr. Rogers. He was great. All right, so later this year, I'm adding exclusively to the MBA program a bunch of lessons on how to program. Now, I used to be a programmer or coder back in the 1990s when I worked at Accenture, and I code a lot on the side, and I love it. Except the problem is it's hard to learn the way it's taught on most online courses, all of them actually. And so I'm going to be using a lot of props. And the way I'm going to start to teach coding is we're all going to use Microsoft Excel. Okay, and again, this is exclusive to my MBA students. And within Excel, what you can do is you can create sub-procedures. And basically, the way it works is you record a macro. You hit record in Excel. Then what you do is you make some changes to your spreadsheet. Like you make, I don't know, a cell font, or a font. That's a bold font, font. This is how terms get created by idiot 50-year-olds that are sick with COVID. Sorry. So you change a cell font size to say 15 or 16 and make it bold. Then you stop recording the macro and you look at the code you created. And when you look at the code, you understand how a computer thinks. And those code modules are called sub-procedures. And I've got a 3D printer. I'm learning how to use it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to code using props. And so within Excel, when you create a sub-procedure, the top of the sub-procedure is called the sub. The bottom is called the end sub. And on the inside are functions, variables, programming logic, etc. And I'm going to teach you using a lot of props how to code. And it's smart, humbly, I think, to start with Excel because a lot of people have Excel. And more importantly, because it's just recording and creating code for you on the fly, which you can manipulate. And in business, I love to always think like the other person does, the person I'm meeting with. I like to get inside their minds before I meet with them. There's a lot of psychology involved. The same thing with programming. I want you to think like a computer. For example, computers start big to small. They're very logical. So if I wanted to use a software product and code how to make this eraser green, I would go big to small as follows. Pencil.eraser.color equals green. So I'll be using a lot of props for this. And for those of you who haven't met me in person, I'm a tiny human being. I'm very small, okay? And that was my awful dad humor. Anybody that signed up for my MBA program that started yesterday, you have all the way up until July 1st to get your money back if my jokes drive you cray-cray, which they probably will. Okay. Next up, Tahir wrote, hi, entrepreneurs. Great to see you, Tahir. And then the Hung Lee wrote, hey, Chris. Hey, how can we best take advantage of the Fed's proposed interest rate hikes in June and July from an entrepreneurship perspective and an investing perspective? Yeah. So let me kick it off with from an entrepreneurship perspective. If you need any sort of vendor financing for any products you want to buy or lease, try to lock them in now before rates go up a lot more. Also, try to raise as much capital as you can now because when rates go up a lot, not many companies are founded because people prefer to leave their money in the banks. For example, in the early 1980s, when inflation and interest rates were close to 20%, nobody invested in startups because you could buy government bonds or leave your money in the bank and make, close to 20%. So my rule of thumb for entrepreneurs when you're raising money is always raise as much money as you can when you can. Because raising money every single year and getting money from venture capital firms every year or two is such a massive distraction. Raise as much money as you can when you can. in terms of the second part of your question, which is what to do from an investing perspective to profit from higher inflation. If you're in the United States, the absolute best investment you can make, and I hardly ever recommend investments, but I put my reputation on the line on this one because this is what I own right now. But if you're in the United States, you go to treasurydirect.gov, and then you click here on Series I savings bonds. And if you invest in Series I savings bonds, you get 9.6% guaranteed, which is right here. Okay, it's guaranteed by the US government, which is the lowest risk investment in the world. The United States government is the last company, so to speak, that will ever go belly up. And so you're guaranteed 9.62%. Now, this interest rate resets every 6 months. And so if interest rates go up or inflation is higher by November 1st, what happens is the rate on this goes up as well. And if interest rates go down for some crazy reason, which wouldn't happen because inflation is rampant now, then what happens is this goes down as well. And even if we're in a deflationary environment, you still cannot lose money on this. Now, the stipulation for this to work is you have to own this for more than a year, otherwise you pay penalties. And if you cash it in within 5 years, you lose 1/4 of interest payments, which is not that bad. And the most you can do is 10 grand per person. So buy them for yourself if you have the extra capital and you're in the United States. Get your spouse to buy them for your kids, etc., and you can gift them as well. If you're not in the United States, then what I want you to do is just go to Google or Bing if you work at Microsoft and do a search for what is the Treasury Direct or savings bonds in my country. What is the name? Yeah. So check it out if you can. And always do your own research first. All right. Whew. All right, guys, I'm gonna sit down for a second here. I'll show you behind the scenes. And I set this contingency camera up just in case. So let me go down here. Ugly guy, eh? Okay, here we are here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is for a little while here, I'm gonna sit down. Hopefully I'm in focus. I turned autofocus off on this camera here because it wasn't breathing properly. Okay. All right, next question I've got here. Let me get into focus. I guess I can lower this chair a bit. There you go. Okay, good. Always have a backup plan, Chris. All right. All right, next up, Manas wrote, good morning, my dear mentor. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good to see you always. Manas is from India. And what I'm going to do actually right now is also, really quickly, I'm just going to bring this microphone down so you can hear me a bit better. Okay. That should work right there. Okay. All right. Okay. And Mom, if you're watching, it's okay. I feel fine. I'll be okay. And for those of you that are older like me, whenever you go home to visit your parents, you have to pretend that you're useless in the kitchen. And so when I go into the kitchen at my parents' house, I always say, Mom, how do I make a peanut butter sandwich? And she says, oh, honey, I'll take care of it. Yeah. And my mom sees right through me, too. She's great. Okay. All right. Next up, I've got Manas who wrote, hope all is well. Thank you. You wrote, thank you for everything. Last week, you had some sickness in your body, which is okay. So please do overwork. I think you meant don't overwork yourself. Yeah. And burn out. Thank you. Yeah. And then you wrote here, it's been 100 days since this war broke out, and the inflation is at its peak. Hopefully its peak, knock on wood, in Europe and the United States. Looks like India, China, and Russia are on the same side as of now. What do you think? Yeah, I think inflation will probably get a little bit worse, but I don't know. And the problem with being short-term focused when people invest, and that's why I don't believe that day trading is a career. The problem with being short-term focused is we're fooled by randomness. And, I have no idea what Putin is going to do next. I don't know how many more economic sanctions will be created by Western Europe. I just don't know. So in the near term, it's always hard for me to call. But like Warren Buffett, I try to be very long-term focused because the longer the view, the wiser the intention. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Nightmare Slasher. First time I've seen him on the call. Hope you join us again. Okay. You wrote, "Hello, Chris. I've taken your presentation course, and it's great so far. Thanks for your efforts." Thank you. Does the same rules from presentations apply to interviews? Yeah, I would say so. And part of that course, and I have a much more up-to-date and thorough version of that in my MBA program, but part of that course, there's a checklist on how to prepare. That also applies to interviews as well. Yeah, yeah. And also, the transition words that I teach you help you a lot in interviews. Okay, so if you're ever flustered for your thoughts, like I've been many times today, you can always use transition words, like moving on to, in terms of the bottom line is. And that buys you time to think. Yeah. And also, when you're presenting, when somebody has a question, when you repeat the question for the audience or the webcast, you're buying yourself time. That's why teachers repeat questions. Yeah. All right. And when you're up there presenting, like, don't be nervous, because you never look as nervous as you feel. And if you mess up, good. Why did I say that? Because if you ever watch somebody presenting and they mess up, they instantly become more likable. So just be yourself, because as Dr. Seuss said, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that means, but it sounded smart. All right. And Manas wrote, "Hope your health is okay. If you're way too sick, just take milk or water and mix some turmeric powder, a pinch only. You'll feel a lot better. I promise you, it's like works like magic." Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Sam I Am. Speaking of Dr. Seuss, Sam wrote, I know your advice about whether to get an MBA degree or not. I decided a master's in machine learning will help me reach my career goals. Most of the masters of machine learning programs are only a couple of years old. I've never heard of that. It's interesting. Okay, great. Then he wrote, "How do I pick a good program? Is university prestige something to consider? There are so many of them, but they don't have graduates yet." Yeah. Some must have graduated, and I would call those that have graduated or in the program, ask them if they've gotten job offers, if it's helped them. And you want to look at the network of the school as well. And one of the things I'm incredibly blessed and humbled to have is an amazing network of thousands of people that have taken my MBA program from all over the world. We help each other out, because your network is your net worth. And my floor is clean, but I still have a bunch of quotes here. Yeah, won't work from this camera angle, but you guys get it. Okay. Whew. All right. Next up, hey Yori, how are you? Yori is a new platinum student of mine, and I met him yesterday during class. Yori wrote, "Hi Chris, glad to be here again. Thanks for the amazing class yesterday. Looking forward to learning more." Thank you. I appreciate it. I love my students. Okay, next up, Craig wrote, "Do you think it's a good idea to use options in your Roth IRA, or should I open a separate brokerage account to do that? Also, what are your thoughts on fractional shares?" Yeah, so when it comes to options, if you buy options in many retirement savings programs, yes, you can put that in your savings program. But if you write options, you underwrite them, meaning if you short them or sell them, with many retirement programs, you cannot do that, okay? And I don't ever recommend writing options, because you can lose a fortune. If you're gonna play in options, I recommend just buying puts and calls, because the most you can lose when you buy a put or a call is however much you pay for that put or that call. And if you're in my MBA program, I added a 30-hour elective to FA44 that covers advanced investing, hedge fund portfolio management, and basic and complex options. And it's in FA44, which is Finance and Accounting Semester 4, Class 4. Yeah. Okay. In terms of fractional shares, yeah, I mean, it's if you don't want to buy one share of $1,000 company, fractional shares are a great alternative. Yeah. Yeah. Just make sure you're not paying any fees. Yeah. Okay. Manas wrote, "How is your TikTok going? Do you love that platform like YouTube? And do you post regularly in it? I think my team is posting there. I haven't checked it in months. I have no idea. And I also have an Instagram channel, which I never check. Yeah. So I have a team helping me out. Thanks. Okay. Next up, Solomon wrote, hey, Chris, what are the best characteristics to make a great company CEO? Like, what are the habits that are important? Yeah. So all CEOs and all great entrepreneurs have one thing in common. They can sell. And so I think the ability to sell yourself and to sell something that seems boring, exciting. That's the measure of a great CEO. And so Mark Benioff has done that for decades now with cloud computing. He makes it sound interesting, but cloud computing is pretty boring. The same thing with Sir Richard Branson. He oozes positivity to the extent that every product of his you feel excited about, the brand. And also, whenever you fly on Virgin Atlantic or go to any Virgin store, so to speak, everybody's so happy. It's because the corporate culture is set by the CEO. Okay, the corporate culture is always set by the founder. And so it's always important to have a CEO that's a great salesperson and is very upbeat as well. Other quick tidbits for what makes a great CEO is somebody that can listen. Also, somebody that can motivate the troops, so to speak. And I teach all that stuff in my MBA program. Yeah. All right, let me get some more water here. Oof. All right. All right, next up, Manas wrote, Elon is demanding, he's a demanding executive of Tesla. He's telling employees, yeah, I saw this, to be in the office for at least 40 hours a week. Do you think it's torture and not a great thing? And what would you do if you were one of the executives? Well, you don't have a choice, right? So Elon basically is calling the shots. And he's telling everybody you have to return to work. And who knows? Maybe it's a great way for him to be able to cut expenses. Because a lot of people say, screw it, I'm not going back to work. And all of a sudden, he's reduced expenses. Yeah. I do believe that some FaceTime is important, though. You can't just work from home using Zoom all the time. You know, it leads to mental illness. It does. And I felt kind of depressed for about a year there during COVID because my only window to the world was Zoom. And that's why I think the metaverse is going to be a huge deal. Because with the metaverse, you feel like you're there, unlike with Zoom, which is two-dimensional. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Manas wrote, what do you think about Starlink and how it's helped Ukraine with data connection? I love it. I love it. And in my TEDx talk I gave back in November of 2016, which you can watch on YouTube, in my TEDx talk, I talked about how one day space pioneers like Elon Musk, I talked about him specifically, will put in low orbiting satellites so that the entire world gets access to unfiltered education online. You know, and what can you do if you're Putin? You wave your fist in the air. You don't control the airspace. Yeah. So I absolutely love what he's doing. Yeah. I love almost everything about Elon. Yeah. And he is brilliant. And you've never seen a Tesla commercial. We haven't. And it's brilliant because most companies spend 10% of their annual revenues on advertising. Coca-Cola has $40 billion in annual revenue. They spend $4 billion in advertising. Tesla doesn't really advertise. He's getting all this free publicity from saying, I think I want to buy Twitter, maybe not, we'll see. Yeah. And he's controversial, but tasteful. Yeah. And you got to be controversial if you want free media attention. It's a great way to put yourself on the map as well. And so as you become a thought leader, as I talked about earlier today, and you opine a lot and publish your book, which is free to do, make sure you're a bit controversial. You know, not too controversial, but somewhat controversial. So for me, I could say that 2/3 of HBS, which is Harvard Business School, 2/3 of HBS is BS. And maybe you can say it about Haroun Business School too, I don't know. Yeah. But be controversial. And Mark Benioff's been controversial since he launched Salesforce back in 1999 by saying that software is dead. Cloud is the future. And Sir Richard Branson, when he launched Virgin Cola back in the 80s, he rented a tank and drove through Times Square. And he declared war on Coca-Cola. Yeah. So you got to be controversial. All right. All right, next up, Manas wrote, thank you for everything. My mentor, call me Chris, please. It's always great to be here. Likewise, thank you. Although I am sitting. And this is the first time you guys have seen me sitting in about 2 years. And I didn't have a chair in my office until last week when I got COVID, right? And the reason why I took the chair in my office a couple of years ago was I had 2 complaints, and 2 data points makes a trend. I had 2 complaints that I sounded tired when I was on this weekly webcast. So I gutted my chair. Yeah. Hopefully I'm in focus. That's good enough. Okay. But I always try to be perfect with this stuff too, which it's hard, man, because it's, as Salvador Dali said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. Okay, and then he wrote, I'll be here with you forever and ever and ever. See you next week. Hope Andrew is doing good at Berkeley. Have a great week. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm very proud of my son. He's smart. He's doing engineering at Berkeley. He clearly inherited all of his intelligence from his mother, yeah, or his grandparents on my side if they're watching. Yeah. All right, next up, the Financial Advisor Show. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. And by the way, what I'll do is I'll go after I run through a couple more questions. I'll go to check my email to see if anybody emailed admissions@harounventures.com. To see if you want me to do a live review in front of the public here of your LinkedIn profile. All right, give me 1 second. And the way you know you're doing your passion is when you're sick, you're doing your passion. And this is my passion. So if you put this and my PS5 side by side, I would choose this, barely, yeah. And I'm almost finished with Red Dead Redemption Part 2. It is a masterpiece of a game. So turn me off and go play Red Dead 2. All right, so next up, I've got the Financial Advisor Show. Good to see you again. Hello, everyone, and Chris. Chris, I have a question with all that is going on in the world and with inflation skyrocketing and volatility of the market. How come the VIX is still low? Yeah. And I've mentioned before, and I still stand by this, that when the VIX, okay, it's ticker VIX, it's a volatility index. When the VIX spikes to above 70 or 80, which it does maybe once a decade, it's going to feel like the world is ending. And that means there's maximum fear out there because volatility means fear. And when the VIX is at 70 or 80, you buy stocks no matter what, right? You buy risky ETFs, you go all in because nobody else is buying. And this way you can be a contrarian and the market will be oversold. So why is the VIX not much higher right now? Well, interest rates are still pretty darn low. Right? If you look at previous inflationary environments, like the early 1980s, inflation was close to 20%. So yes, it's bad. Inflation is high single digits now, but interest rates are still relatively low. When interest rates spike, and spike they will, then the VIX will rise materially as the market sells off, and that's when you start buying. It's going to feel like the world is ending though, and that's a good thing. Because in March of 2020, when the VIX was above 80 at an all-time high, everybody was panic selling. Imagine that. As Warren Buffett said, the New York Stock Exchange is the only store in the world where consumers sell stuff when it goes on sale. And you got to be unemotional. And Elon Musk actually backed up the truck, so to speak, and bought a ton of shares in March of 2020 in Tesla because he's unemotional. And you have to be unemotional. He made a fortune. And he sold a lot of those shares last fall, when the market was basically at its peak. He was unemotional. He's a contrarian. And you got to be contrarian as well if you want your net worth to take off. Oh, wow. The Financial Advisor Show. By the way, I'm Lebanese, Chris. I didn't know that. Very cool. Very, very cool. You gotta leverage your network. And I'm trying to understand because my mom is Lebanese, my dad's Egyptian. Do Lebanese or Egyptians make better falafel? Because when I eat my mom's falafel, I don't feel awful. I'm sick. I'm allowed to have some bad humor here. Bad humor days. All right. Next up, Jagdish wrote, good evening to all. Good to see you. Moving on to Mark. Mark wrote, please, when is the next live MBA admission program? I missed the deadline yesterday and saw the message late, so I was not prepared financially. Yeah. Thank you for your interest. Appreciate it. Yeah. So the MBA program that started yesterday, the Gold and Platinum program, is sold out. We have 88 students, which is about 13 more than I wanted. I wanted to cut it off at 75. The next one we're going to do is going to be launching on Friday, September 30th, and it will be first come, first serve. And that will be every Friday for 1 year. And it will be between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific time every single Friday. And so I'd love to have you join that one. In terms of more details on it and early access pricing, I'll publish it to the web maybe tomorrow or in the next couple days or so. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but I am sorry we're overbooked. Thanks. Okay. Next up, Rawlings. Rawlings graduated from the MBA program a while back, who wrote a good day, family. Great to see you. Always great to see you. Okay. Let me just do a quick little check here to see if the focus is okay. I think it's good. All right. Ugly guy, eh? Yeah. Let me set up a little bit more, get more in frame. All right. Moving on to Jacob. Jacob wrote, hello, how are you? Hope all is well. I'm great, thanks. I hope you're doing well. You wrote, I have a question regarding acquiring a new skill set. I have skills in project management, data analytics, and languages. What's another good skill set? Yeah. I think the next step for you would probably be artificial intelligence and learning programming languages that teach that. And it's something I'll be teaching in my MBA program as well. I'm going to be adding lots of programming courses as well. I'm going back to my roots now, and I'll be teaching programming exclusively to my MBA students. So anything that touches upon artificial intelligence. And for anybody out there that's confused about what career they should be in, or what stock to invest in or what sector to invest in, just ask yourself this basic question. In 5 years, will this career or sector be more relevant or less relevant than it is today? And I think data analytics and artificial intelligence will be much more relevant in 5 years. Yeah. All right, next up, Kumar wrote, hi, Chris. Lots of hearts there. Thank you. God bless you. Good to see you. Warren Buffett started investing nearly $55 billion. So we can assume that no pandemic is going to happen in the near future. Yeah, I have no idea. It's all for Warren also. He does get a lot of inflows. And so you have to actually put capital to work when you have inflows. Yeah. And usually you can't sit on more than 5% cash in your portfolio. Yeah. And we do a case study in my MBA program on the types of stocks that Warren Buffett buys, the specific stocks actually. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Simon, how are you? It's been a while. Simon is based in Hungary. He's a cryptocurrency expert and a metaverse expert as well. Good to see you, bud. You wrote, hey, Chris, responding to your mention of the metaverse and depression. Yeah. NASA was researching the metaverse, and they say that astronauts going to Mars, for example, can use it, smart, and feel better. And then you wrote, hope to catch up soon. Heading out now to meet an investor. I'll catch up on the webcast later. Thank you, Simon. Great to see you. It's fascinating. Yeah, and at some point, what Zoom is going to do, and I don't know anything, but I promise you they're thinking of this, I think. But eventually Zoom is going to say, we are working on a metaverse version of Zoom. And then the stock will jump 30% market cap overnight. Yeah. It'll take a while. So, and what I'm doing with my MBA program is I'm adding a metaverse to it, to a lot of lessons for optional case studies. And you can go to mbametaverse.com and check it out. Okay, it's just a sample lesson there. Yeah. But I'm adding that as well. The problem with metaverse, though, is that facial software your face is not perfect yet in video games or in the metaverse. Like when I play FIFA or NBA 2K, everything looks amazing and perfect and lifelike except for the faces. No one's nailed faces yet. When they do, then I think metaverse will take off. Yeah, it's going to be a while, but I believe in the metaverse. Yeah. All right. Next up, Glow. That's cool moniker. wrote, Glow, and that was actually the Corning, which makes Gorilla Glass. I think the ticker was GLW for Glowworm, yeah. But Glow wrote, do you think it's realistic for someone who's been a business owner operator for 20 years, but with limited knowledge of corporate finance, to learn finance and begin to create private equity funds? Yeah. If you want to do that, I don't see why you can't. And if you join my MBA degree program, I'll teach you. I've started a hedge fund, and I reinvented myself and went to my first hedge fund in my 30s. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how old or how young you are. It's all up here. Yeah. Whether or not you think you can do it, you can. And I'd be more than happy to humbly help you. Yeah. All right. And if you want to learn more about private equity, and this goes to everyone on the call, you can watch a great movie called Other People's Money with Danny DeVito. Yeah. It's all about private equity. Okay, next up, Wayne wrote, Chris, when deciding to launch HEV, did you use any tools for doing the introspection before you moved forward? In other words, have you used assessments or anything to help you focus your interest? Yeah. So basically what I did was I started doing this weekly webcast every single Thursday back in 2018. And I did it for about a year or so. And I started teasing or asking people about what do they want to learn, and would they be interested in doing an online MBA. I got a ton of real-time feedback through my weekly infomercial, my weekly office hours call like this. And then I put it to practice, yeah. And I'm so grateful to all my MBA students, especially the first year, man. We're doing our 4th year program, which kicked off yesterday, but my first year students all signed up without me having created a single lesson. And as Salvador Dali said, if you strive for perfection, you'll never reach it. So it was certainly imperfect. And I am grateful for my early adopters and all my students. Yeah. But the fact that the reason I did it was for many years I wanted to do this. And so in late 2018, I sent out a vlog saying, coming in 2019, the Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program. And by doing that, everybody asked me about it over and over and over again. I was like, oh my God, I guess I have to do it. So you got to vocalize your goals and always set a deadline date. Yeah. All right. Next up, Caroline. Hey, how are you? Good morning, Chris. Sorry to hear you got COVID. Thank you. I guess we're all going to get it. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, and I got the first two. So I got the Pfizer vaccine. And after the second Pfizer vaccine, I got so sick, and I told myself I think I might want to skip the booster. And then COVID, which I'm getting over right now, it was just as severe as the side effects from the second dosage, for me at least. Yeah, it affects us all differently. Yeah. All right. All right, next up, Lura wrote, hey, Chris, my first time here. Thank you. Welcome. I hope you join us again. You wrote, I just bought your financial analyst course and MBA in one course on Udemy. You're really awesome. Huge respect from India. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And my favorite Indian restaurant just shut down here in Burlingame, or Boringame, where I live. It's killing me. Now I don't know where to go to get dosa. If anybody knows where I can buy good dosa at an Indian restaurant in the Bay Area, please leave it in the message here. Yeah. All right. And in a second, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to my email, and I'm going to open up any emails that people have sent to admissions@harounventures.com, so I can go over your LinkedIn profile live here on the air. And then we'll wrap it up. And then at 10 a.m. I have for Silver MBA students only office hours where I do Zoom. Yeah. And for those of you in the Silver On-Demand MBA program, if you go to the first lecture in the entire program, you'll see the link for this week and every week's webcast, which is every single Thursday at 10 a.m. for an hour, and we do Zoom. And not many people are on it as well, so which is great. It's more intimate. All right. Next up, Pride wrote, hello, sir. Call me Chris, please. What are the job options after completing the MBA when you've got no experience in senior positions before? Companies may not entrust you with posts since you've not been there before. Yeah. Yeah. And when you say been there, I'm assuming you're referring to just your previous experience. Yeah. So I always tell my students, and I say this with love in my heart, I can take you to the water, but I can't force you to drink. And so I provide you with all the tools you need to be successful. And I teach you many ways to network and get the job of your dreams, get customers, start a company, etc. But you got to practice a lot. And my most successful students in my MBA program, what they do is they practice presenting to each other over Zoom, every week. And Christina Hong, who's our fearless leader, and she's the head of the alumni community, she does like a weekly call every weekend. And a lot of students and alumni of the MBA program will pitch their investment ideas, practice interviewing, presenting, that sort of thing. And I'm very proud and humbled that one of my current platinum students that started January 10th of this year, one of my current platinum students just got a job at Goldman Sachs in investment banking at the associate level, which is post MBA level. His start class is going to be with people from Harvard, Columbia, where I went, etc. And they just flew him and his wife actually in New York and they put him up in corporate housing. But he practiced a lot, the concepts that I teach, and it was all him, not me at all. I have another student that graduated last year named Tao, and she's from Vietnam but lives in Chicago now, and she just got a full-time offer from Google. I have another student in the Silver program that just got a job with the Boston Consulting Group. Right, that's a company I got rejected by. So the bottom line is that the methodologies I teach work, or your money back. And so if anybody's interested in starting right now, you can go to harounmba.com, and then you can sign up for the Silver on-demand MBA. You got 30 days to get your money back. And then later on, you can upgrade at a discount. You'll get front-of-the-line access to my next gold and platinum class. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Pride wrote, I went through your entrepreneurship class and it's beyond. Thank you. It's more than the usual. You got to buy low and sell high. In my world, there's a 9th member to the Treacherous Eights. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And we do a case study on the Treacherous Eight as well, the original founders of National Semiconductor. Yeah. Great to see you. All right, next up, Maria, who joined my MBA program. We started yesterday. We started every Wednesday from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. We had an amazing first class. We had, I think at Zoom, we had 40 or 50 people on Zoom at the end of the 6-hour class. It was incredible. And Maria, it was wonderful to meet you as well. And so Maria wrote, the first MBA class was fantastic yesterday. It's a pity I could not join the Zoom call yesterday. Yeah, it was fun, but there's plenty of opportunities. And I've never, ever taught an MBA class online. I've never taught one. And at the end said, I don't have any more time for questions. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Jacob wrote, how do I schedule a Zoom call with you? Yeah, so if you're in the, I'll show you how to do it, yeah. So if you're in the Platinum program, this looks ridiculous. Hey there. Let me get my face off in the corner there. It's like a hockey reference, eh? So all you do is you go to my website here. Whoops. HarounMBA.com. And then you go here to MBA student login, okay? And then right here, you click here, or whatever your class is. Just click here and log in, and it's self-explanatory on how to set up Zoom meetings with me that way. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Next up, I got Hoot Gibson, who wrote, by the way, I self-published my book. It's available on Amazon, Hoot Gibson. Oh, cool. Let me go there right now with it. Okay. So let's all search for Hoot Gibson, and we'll go to Amazon. Okay. And I will search for Hoot Gibson. Great to see you on the call, man. Okay. Let's see. Wow, back in 1943. I think I'll probably have to search for sort by new arrivals, right? Because you probably just published it, you wrote it. Okay. If you want, what you could do, and for some reason it's searching everything here. Hoot Gibson book. It's probably my fault. Okay. Hoot and Hell's Outlet, the heroic story, World War II dive bomb. Oh, dude, is this yours? Yeah, let me know which one of these is yours, please. It's probably right here. Hoot's Wisdom Nuggets. You cut it. I choose. Oh, we've got a couple of them. Yeah, and let me know which one it is here, please. Thank you. And I ain't falling for no banana in the tailpipe. What movie is that from? Okay, next up, that was a sympathy cough. I feel great, though. Don't worry. Mike wrote, hey, Chris, regarding the individuals you just mentioned that completed your MBA program and got the job at Goldman Sachs and other places, what were their educational background besides your MBA program? Yeah, so he's not finished yet. He started in January. He's halfway through the program. Yeah, it's a one-year program. In terms of his background, he worked at E&Y. Yeah, he's in his low 20s. Nice guy, very easy to talk to, and yeah. And you know when you meet somebody and your gut tells you that this is a good person? Well, that's the feeling I got for him as well. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then Hoot said, you missed my chat above. It's 4 messages back. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love Marine Corps. Yeah, I don't see it. The reason I don't see it is you cannot share hyperlinks over YouTube Live for some cray reason. It's not my call. It's YouTube's rules. Yeah. But if you want, you can tell me the name of your book, and I'll look it up as well. Thank you. Okay. All right, next up. Hey, Rose, how are you? Rose graduated from my MBA program a couple of years ago. She was my first class. Great to see you. She's from the great state of Virginia. Good to see you. Yeah. And she was editor of the yearbook in the first year, which I have, which is awesome. All right, move on to Mike. Mike Flynn wrote, by the way, I just started your Gold MBA program. The first day was yesterday, and it's great. I'm very excited. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for your support. It's going to be fun. We're going to go through a lot together. Yeah. And I get to know almost every one of my students really, really well by the time it's over. Okay. Moving on to Pride, who wrote a technical question. I'm on the 3-month payment plan. Okay, cool. I have payment plans for all of my MBA products. You wrote, I want to make the second payment before the month cuts. Let's say a week after the previous payments. How can I go about doing that? Yeah, I'm so sorry. It's just I usually leave the payment engine as is. Just if you can, please just do it monthly. And if you have issues with it, you send an email to support@harounventures.com. We'll figure something out. Thank you. Okay. All right. All right. Now, next up, Rose from Virginia wrote, can you talk more about how you said you are switching your business model to subscription-based? What will that entail, and why did you decide to change? Yeah. So I'm still going to be having the current setup will still be as is, meaning you can pay one time for the MBA or do the 3 monthly payments. But I have another offer also where you could subscribe to all of my courses as well as my on-demand MBA program, and you can get access to every office hours I have during the week by paying $99. And for those of you interested, I'll show you where it is. I've never really marketed it, but we actually had a bunch of sales. It's been great. All right, let me go here. I'll keep myself in with my mic there. But if you go to just my website, Haroun, MBA.com, whatever, and you go to all courses, you'll see here that I've got a monthly subscription program right here. Okay, So you get all my courses, and then you get my Silver On-Demand MBA, and you pay $99 per month. Yeah, cancel anytime. Yeah, and you can also get access to all of my office hours, meaning not just this one, which is obviously anybody can join, but also the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Silver, as well as the 11:20 to 1:20 p.m. Gold and Platinum every week. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Okay. But with subscription business models, like what I like about them also is it gives you good revenue visibility. And all these streaming companies, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever, they all have subscription plans. And you can make a lot more money that way as well. So if Netflix did not have a monthly subscription plan, but they charged you, I don't know, say $120 a year for access, and you have to pay up front, they probably wouldn't make as much money because the sticker shock is much higher at the full price. So I just want to make it another flexible way for people to get access to my content. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then Hoot wrote, actually, I published 3 books. The most recent one is Hoot's Wisdom Nuggets, Future Shock and Awe, and How Technology will Change Our Future. Oh, cool. Let me go there. I want to support you. Okay, so let me go over here. And I think it was here. Here we go. Okay. All right, Hoot's, and then book. Okay. All right, which one? Wisdom Nuggets. Okay, this one here, for example. Okay, cool. What I'll do is I'll order this and I'll get it by Saturday, and I'll profile it actually next week on my call. Yeah. Thank you. And I would hit checkout, the checkout there, but I don't want people to see where I live. It's not that I don't trust you. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And people ask me, do you do one-on-one meetings in person? I don't. I just use Zoom, unless it's like my annual graduation alumni event, in which case I do tons of one-on-ones there. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Conrad. Hey, Conrad wrote, hey, Chris, nice to see you. I wish you good health. Thank you. I haven't been here for a long time. It's welcome back. It's great to see you. Great to see you again. Yeah. And one of my investors, my hedge fund years ago, a guy named Conrad Herman, really, really nice guy. I'm getting a call right now from Rwanda. That's probably Vital, I think. Hold on. Hey, Vital. Hello. Hey, you're on speakerphone on my weekly webcast. I hope you don't mind.
Yes. Do you want me to show you the site? I'm at the site right now.
Yeah. Can I open up Zoom and you can give me a tour?
Yes, please.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Okay, stay with me right now on my weekly webcast. Okay. This was not planned, I promise you. I'm going to open up Zoom. So stay with me, okay? Okay, stay there. All right, everyone.
Okay, I will wait for your email.
Oh no.
For the Zoom.
Do you have the link, or should I send you one?
You can send me the link via email or WhatsApp.
Okay, great.
Do you use this phone on WhatsApp?
I'll send you the link right now, okay?
Okay, great.
Okay, and stay with me there. And so for everybody, this is
okay, great.
This is a
Yes.
this is a real treat because what I'm gonna show you guys in real time Rwanda and how the school we're building there is going. So give me 1 second, Vital, and I'll email this to you. Okay, looks like he just hung up. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you in real time. This will be fun, man. And I promise you, I didn't plan this. This is wonderful. All right, Vital. Zoom link. I'll spell it wrong. Whatever. He knows. Okay, great. So I just sent that to him. And what I'll do actually until he joins is I'll actually keep taking your questions. Yeah. Okay. And by the way, for those of you not familiar with what I'm doing in Rwanda, and Vital's going to come on in a second, and God, the world's a smaller place, and show us the progress. What I did was I met Vital in Berlin at a Udemy event years ago. And then I decided on the spot I was going to help him build a school in Magoo, Rwanda, where he's from. And so we'll finish this first one this year. It's taken a while. I went there with my son in July of last summer. And then next year I'm making one with another one of my students in Kenya and then Nigeria, etc. And the kids loved my son. Andrew, if you're watching, like a son to me. Actually, he's in Hawaii now with his buddies. But what he did was he actually showed the kids Snapchat, and they were laughing so hard. So anyway, I'll wait for Vital to join. He'll join here. And then once he joins, what we'll do is he's going to give us a real-time overview of how it's going. And while we wait for him, I'll continue to answer your questions. Let me see if he's responding to that email I sent him. Let's see here. Sent. Whew. Yeah. Okay, great. Very cool. Very cool. All right. And I just, we just wired him some more money yesterday. Okay. All right. I'll wait for him to join and I'll keep taking questions from you here. All right. Okay. So next up, Rose wrote, do you think that freemium advertising-based platforms are the future, or paid no-ad platforms? Netflix will include a plan that includes ads at a lower pricing point. Do you think others will follow suit? Yeah. And I'm really upset that Netflix is thinking of doing that. I think it cheapens the brand. So, yeah. I don't think they need to do that either. I think if they want to increase the number of subs they have or how much money they're making, all they have to do is basically tell every household, hey, you can't share your login anymore. Because there's a lot of low-hanging fruit there. Yeah. All right. All right. But it shows you how incredibly crowded the market is. And I've noticed a pullback, actually, in sales of my individual courses. My MBA courses or program's taken off big time. It's my biggest revenue driver for my online stuff now, which is great. Many times bigger than my other revenue sources. But I did notice a slowdown because, the year-over-year comps are tough. Everyone's going outside now. It's like COVID never happened. I say it as I have COVID. How prophetic. And also there's just a lot more streaming competition. All right. So Vital, I don't know if you can hear me, buddy, but I'm waiting for you to join. If you did not get the email, either call me or just leave a message there in YouTube chat. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to type here. I sent you the link. Okay. I sent you the Zoom via email. Thanks. You guys can see my Lululemon pants there, right here, right? So I wear my Lululemon pants everywhere with my suit. Okay. All right, great. So I just wrote a Vital message there saying I just sent you the Zoom link via email. Okay. Okay. But Rose, I do believe that you have to offer a lot of free content in order to in order to get as many subscribers as possible. You do. And if you want to raise money from investors, you have to show them how many subs you have, subscribers, and you can always monetize it later. And so the best example I like to give is Evan Spiegel from Snapchat. When he first tried to raise money from Silicon Valley, he came up to the Valley and he met with a lot of the biggest venture capital firms. And what he did was he told these VCs about his business model at Snapchat. And Silicon Valley can sometimes be so out of touch because a lot of VCs said to him, I don't understand your business model, dude. Like, when I take pictures of my kids, I don't want them to disappear. And so they didn't get it. And then a couple of years later, Evan Spiegel came back to the same venture capitalist and said, remember me, I'm trying to raise money. And they said to him, well, how many subscribers do you have? And he said 6.5 million. And the VCs were like, oh my God, that's the best business model I've ever heard of. Count me in. So it's all about subs. And a way to get sub growth for free, Rose, is to leverage the media. and be somewhat controversial as well, and be a thought leader as well, which we talked about at the beginning of today's weekly webcast when I discussed LinkedIn. Yeah. And you're a prolific writer too. I remember the first article I read from you was back in December of 2019 on LinkedIn, where you published one on the Amazon merchandise or clothing business. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Jacob wrote, what is with that humongous barrel of water? Right here, it's crazy. So we are 60% water. And when I drink water, I find I have a hell of a lot more energy. And on the side of it here, it tells you how long you have to go. It's dirty. I took it to the gym and everything. I keep cleaning it. It still looks dirty, but whatever. And so right now, I am at about 9 a.m. So I'm behind schedule. Yeah. All right, Vital, if you're watching, buddy, we're waiting for you to join a Zoom. Sent. And if you're watching, Vital, I sent it to your yahoo.fr email address. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, next up, Rose wrote, so should I focus on getting subscribers first and then charge later? Yeah, you want to have some sort of way to upsell or cross-sell. So for example, with with my daily vlogs, obviously that's free for anybody to watch. And this weekly webcast is free as well. And then what I do is I upsell to my MBA program and other stuff. Yeah. Oh, here's Vital. Okay, great. This will be fun, dude. Let me admit Vital, and he'll give us a tour of how Project Magoo is going. Okay, give me a second for him to accept him. He's coming. Looking forward to it, man. Okay. There we go. Oh my gosh, it's dark there. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, it's night. But he's got lights. Okay, great. So he's connecting now to audio.
Chris, do you hear me?
Yep, perfect. How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm always great, thank you. So very good. So it's
I'm at the site right now. It's around 7 p.m.
Okay, cool.
And
yeah, it froze for a second. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. So let's give you a tour.
Thank you. Very cool. It's 11 p.m. right now, right?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Oh my God, you guys are working at night building it too. Wow. Incredible. That's amazing. Amazing. It takes a village. I love it, buddy. So everybody, it looks like they're building the school right there. Fantastic. We bought the plot of land, I think a year or two ago. And then it took a while to build it because of COVID. I visited the site there July of last year with my son, Andrew. And I have a lot of fond memories of that. I met with Vital's mom as well. She's a prayer warrior. And we all held hands and said a wonderful prayer as well. I got to meet his sister and his nephew, the cutest little kid you'll ever see. But anyway, it was a wonderful trip. Vital, if you could, looks like it just cut off. And Vital, thank you so much for showing us. It really warms my heart that you're all working at 11 o'clock at night. That's dedication. You inspire me so much. I love you and I miss you. And thank you so much for showing us the update there. I'll keep Zoom open in case you want to rejoin again. And thank you so much for showing us. Pretty cool, man. Pretty wild, man. That's dope on a rope. I love it. All right. So what I'll do is I'll leave this open here in case he rejoins. And what I'll do to be efficient is I'll multitask and take questions here. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, so Rose wrote here, so focus on getting subscribers first and charge later. Yeah, it's like Field of Dreams, man. If you build it, they will come. You know, you got to get as many subscribers as you can. then advertisers will come, because no one's going to advertise on a platform that doesn't have a big number, obviously, of subscribers. And that's the basis for YouTube's business model as well. For people like Marquise Brownlee, who's my favorite YouTuber, he's got like 15 million subs. So advertisers pay him a fortune to advertise. All right, we got Vital back here. There we go. There we go. Look at that, guys. Okay, so that's at night right there. Cool.
Okay. Chris, do you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now. Very cool. I can't believe you guys are working at 11 o'clock. That's awesome.
Yes, we are still working because we are pouring the concrete,
Yeah.
and it's good when the concrete is done at once, so that you don't have to do it twice. So
Amazing.
they did the whole house today,
Excellent.
and so let us give you a tour.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
they are doing it manually because that's the technology we have now. So they are taking it from there. So where they
Amazing.
so so and then they do it like this, and then they pour it. So this is how they do it.
Huh. Amazing. Just amazing. You're pouring concrete. And Vital, how long does it take for the concrete to dry?
So it's like a chain. They do a chain so that they can.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
and then we reach to where they pour it. So this is how they're doing it.
Amazing. Looks like they're having so much fun doing it as well.
Yes, they have a lot of fun because they need morale. It's like they need to do morale so that they can, work with joy. Otherwise, the work doesn't go well.
I love it, man. I love it. Whistle while you work. I am so blown away and inspired. I'm almost going to tear up that
Yes.
you guys are building at night.
Yes, because today they will work maybe one more hour to finish everything because they poured the first concrete. And if they leave it without pouring it completely, tomorrow it will be hardened. So they need to finish it. So that's why they are working even at night.
I
So
love it.
we've been here the whole afternoon, and we are doing. They were working here. There was some other workshops going on, and yes. So this is where you were standing last time when you came here.
Mm-hmm.
In the cassava plantation. Now there is this house being built. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Amazing.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And Vital, where's the church? Is that where the lights
The
come
church. Yes, the church. I gonna show you to the church.
Uh-huh.
I'm with Yannick. So Yannick. Yes, let's switch the camera. So we're gonna.
Hey, Yannick, good to see you, bud. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. And
Chris, I tell
Yannick
you-
is. Go on, please, yes.
It's so great to see. We took our families today, so they are here with us,
Nice.
and we did a workshop today with in the church actually.
Oh,
and
Love it.
people are just amazing. They are helping. They have a great time. We make progress. It's just awesome.
It's awesome,
So
man.
Chris, do you want to see
Amazing.
the church?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And you guys put Yannick, God bless you as well. So Yannick and Vital met in Germany, and now they're in Magoo, which is where in Rwanda, Magoo, where Vital grew up. And Yannick helped out with putting the solar on the roof of the church, which is going to power things. So the solar is already there on the church, which will power the school. And then we'll put panels, of course, on top of the school as well, so it's self-sufficient. And the solar panels will panel the Raspberry Pi computers that local Rwandans will be making. Yeah, amazing.
So these are materials that we are using. So, Yannick, can't you get again? So these are our bricks that we're gonna be using.
Cool.
Here.
Amazing.
Yes, bricks like these ones. And there we have a lot of kind of talk where we have. So this is where we stand last time when we did with our spades and everything. Now it's a house. So now I'm gonna show you where we did our church and the solar panels and everything. So amazing. Just bear with me.
Yeah, take your time. This is great. I'm blown away that you're showing this. Yeah.
So yeah. So this is if you remember, can you put the light there? So this is the school. You remember here?
Yep.
We passed here, and the school we sat in last time is here.
Oh, that's right. That's the classroom where you went to school too.
Yes, this is the classroom.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yes. So let's see the church. I think they're still there. We've been having a workshop right there in the church.
Amazing. Oh, I love it. I love it, dude. That's incredible. I can't believe
it's happening. It looks like this with the lights of the school. So you can only see some few lights here.
I love it.
Now it's almost 7. So
amazing, dude. Just incredible. I love it. I love it. Does anybody have anybody on the webcast have questions for Vital? Please let me know. This is great. So Yannick and Vital, again, they met in Germany. And Yannick is also a rock star engineer. Smart guy, nice guy as well. And I met his brother, actually, when I went to Rwanda. Really, really good guys. Yeah.
So this is the church.
Okay, cool.
And the lights
The lights are on.
The lights are on, but it's closed now.
Nice. I love it.
It's all powered by solar, Chris. It's so amazing, and it runs for over 1 year now, the plant. So it's just great.
I love it. I love it. It's incredible. And the internet access you have in that little computer room on the right side there, yeah?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
We actually had to put some more money so that the internet works, but the device just works fine. That is
perfect. Perfect. And there's a question on the webcast. Wayne is asking, how can we help? And the best way to help is just please donate. You can donate directly here on my YouTube channel. And of course, I'll make sure all the money goes directly to Vital and Yannick to build this masterpiece. Yeah, very cool.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
And Chris, maybe for the people on the call who don't know, Chris is our first person who helped us. The land we bought, Chris donated the money for buying that land. And the first buildings that we are building, Chris donated the money for that. So people on the call, just for your information, that Chris is not only saying things, but he does. He came here to Rwanda in July last year with his son Andrew, and we've been here together, right where we are now. We've been here together, and he put inauguration. He did inauguration of the building. He will show you some pictures. I think some of you have seen also the videos. Yeah. And so just to thank you also, Chris, in the middle of this call, that everyone also knows that what you say, you do that. And for those who don't know me, I'm a student of Chris. Always. I've been in the MBA program, and it was amazing. And Chris inspired us a lot. Even when we started this, we met in Berlin, in a Udemy conference in Berlin, and he was asking me, what do you want to do if you would have time, what would you do? And I remember saying, man, I would just go back to my village and give back. And Chris said, man, we can do that. Let's do this. And we started, and then he kicked us with a lot of money to start these things. And yeah, so that's where everything, that's how everything connects, for those who don't know.
Yes,
so thank you so much, Chris.
And also thank you from the people here. I mean,
yes, a lot.
Chris, they really appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
one day you have to come back here again and see it for yourself.
I'd love to.
So especially the workshop today, but also all the other days that we spent here, they are just grateful.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
what
And
we did there in the workshop, actually we assembled bicycles, 2 bicycles.
Mhm.
So we brought pieces and we assembled them with our students who are studying and who are also learning. They're doing driving license classes, and it was just to get to know each other. And they assembled those 2 bikes, and one was given to the pastor here. You remember him?
Oh, I met him. That's right. He's a good guy. He's your pastor when you're younger too. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, so we gave him one bike that was assembled here in the church, and the other one was given to the director of the school. So they are happy, and because they are helping us also to teach the students and to be with them, engage with them, and so yeah, it's going well, and soon we will be needing also a car. If someone wants to donate a car for driving school in Magu here,
Yeah,
so,
for the practical lessons.
For practical lessons. Now they are doing theory classes.
I'll donate that for sure. Yeah. No, but this is amazing, and you both, Yannick and Vital, inspire me so much, and God bless you, and thank you so much for all your incredible hours of service to make this happen. I'm so humbled and grateful that I'm allowed to be a part of this. So thank you.
Oh man, we are humbled to have you as our big stakeholder, and thank you so much. And not only just because you support, but the inspiration you give us, and and not only us. I think you inspire. I don't know how many. I can't count. So thank you so much, Chris, for inspiration and for giving your time to the world. This calls the MBA, it's amazing. Thank you so much. It's a great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thing you're doing to the world.
Thank God. God bless you, and thank you so much for the update, guys. I'm blown away. I'm so inspired. So I'm shivering. I'm so inspired. It's unbelievable, especially at this time of night to do this, to pour concrete and to hear the kids in the background, everybody singing, and just the human chain, and it's incredible. And thank you for the update.
Yes.
God bless you.
No, you're welcome, and thank you so much. So we're gonna walk now to the construction site again.
Okay. Sure.
And then a few minutes later we drive to Kigali. And then tomorrow we are here again. So
excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, this is great, man. And anytime you want to come on to the weekly call or do this again, if you want to, and I'm so impressed and grateful at the same time.
Yes, I wanted to do it earlier, but our time, the time difference is crazy. So this is the only time that I could find where would be possible on the call. But if it would have been great during daytime, you could see where you've been on the plot. Now how it looks like. Yeah.
I love it.
Maybe we'll find another time when it's.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. God bless you. And God bless all the workers there, and please give your mom a big hug for me. Your mom's a prayer warrior. Excellent.
I will.
Excellent. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.
God bless you guys. All right. Thanks. Take care.
Bless you.
Thanks. Bye bye. Wow.
Okay.
I am absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away. Amazing. Incredible. Yeah. Whew. Okay, let me see if we have any more questions here. So I mentioned earlier today that I was going to go through people's LinkedIn profiles. Just given the fact we did that call, it might be tough for me to do it today. So what you can do is for next week's call, you can email your LinkedIn profile again right when the call starts next week. Email it to admissions@harounventures.com. And what I'll do is I'll take a look at your LinkedIn profile and humbly help you sell yourself better, so you can get the job of your dreams, customer of your dreams, etc. And in my Platinum MBA program, I actually create your LinkedIn profile for you. So I'm going to wrap it up now. And if you're in my Silver MBA program, you can join the Zoom call. And to get access to the Zoom call for my weekly Silver MBA program, just go to the first lecture in the MBA program. And for those of you curious, and hey there, I'll use this cray angle here. All you have to do is go to HarounMBA.com, and then you go here to buy courses, and then you click here on Silver, and you can purchase this. And again, go to the first lecture to get the weekly Zoom link. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee and all that great stuff. I put my reputation on the line. You guys will enjoy it. I'll help you take your career to the next level or your money back. And so I want to thank you all for your time today. This was definitely a fun call, a little bit different because I'm sitting down. But just remember, it's like the scrolling at the end of a movie. Your network is your net worth. Just remember that. Aggressively network, because I promise you it's the best way to get a job. And God bless y'all. Have a safe and happy and healthy weekend. Click like and subscribe only if this was helpful. And I'll see you next week and every week forever. Again, I apologize for missing last week given COVID. But I can't wait to see you guys again next week. Thank you guys. Take care.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.